I'm Brian Fowler, president of Blind Creek Resources Limited, listed on the TSX Venture Exchange, ticker symbol BCK. Blind Creek is focused in the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and British Columbia. The company's key property is the Blend Project, one of the largest undeveloped lead-zinc-silver deposits in Western Canada, plus plans to advance the recently acquired, fully permitted historic engineer gold mine in the Atlan District of Northwestern BC. Check us out at blindcreekresources.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mike Swanson, editor of WallStreetWindow.com. Welcome back to the show, Mike.
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and apparently so is the Dow right now.
Oh, yeah, it's been an interesting month in the markets, and the Dow, as we're speaking, this week it's making a new high. Of course, it made a new high about 2 weeks ago, but I think what we're seeing is a continuation of a trend in the global markets that really started around June, and that is that the U.S. stock market is outperforming the rest of the world. In the month of June, we saw emerging markets make new lows. China made new lows, meaning they went through their spring lows, and they continued lower in August. And September, they've had a little bounce, but as we're speaking, this week they appear to be turning back down. But during all this time, the U.S. stock market's outperforming, the dollar is outperforming, and this week, while the emerging markets in China have been weak, now Europe also took a bit of a tumble as the Italian stock market fell on news that the Italian government is set to bust their budget deficit, and they're even now talking that they might want to get out of the euro. It's probably just an empty threat, but that's, I think, to sum it up, why this matters is I think it's a reason for some of the strength of the stock market in the United States, that money's coming out of these global markets into our market. I don't think this is like a permanent trend that's going to last for years, because at some point these markets will bottom out and this trend could actually reverse when it does. But I do think that this is going to help the U.S. stock market have a bid from now to at least the end of the year. And as you go into the end of the year, you can see money managers start to chase the sectors that are going up the most because they want to show that they own them on their books. And there can be tax loss selling and stuff that's lagging, which would be global markets and some other sectors. But also something interesting is happening this week with the U.S. stock market that is important. And one thing I've seen over the past couple years is a rotational pattern where there'll be a sector that's lagging and underperforming for a period of months while the U.S. stock market goes up, and then all of a sudden it'll just start to surge and take off. It'll kind of fall to the 200-day moving average and create a base, then just surge for a couple of weeks or months even. So last year, going into Labor Day, the entire Russell 2000 was doing that. It was lagging for about 3 months, and then it broke out and just surged, and that helped make the entire stock market go up. Now, what's happening now is that the semiconductor sector had been lagging for months. Stocks such as Intel were among the worst performing stocks in the stock market. And over the past week, these stocks started to go sideways and form a little bit of a base. And over the past 2 trading sessions, these stocks are now really taking off. They're not on highs, but they're surging off their lows. Intel is up over 4% as we're speaking. This is significant because the entire semiconductor sector has a heavy weight on the NASDAQ, and if it can just go up here, and bounce for a couple weeks, that can provide some strength to the NASDAQ and the U.S. stock market. We already saw a bit of a rotation several weeks ago into defense stocks. They actually did this same exact thing that the semiconductors are doing now. they started to form a base and consolidate, and then they just punched up, of Boeing surging, making a new 52-week high. That's helping the Dow do very well. Now, today, Intel is helping the Dow too, Cisco, Apple, Microsoft. So what I'm trying to say is this U.S. stock market has this pattern of money kind of churning into sectors that are lagging for a period of time, helping them to go up. And this seems to periodically happen every quarter or two. And so I think that's what is going on now, and I expect these tech stocks to do well, probably into November or something.
It reminds me about the coaches in the NHL and NFL. It's all the same faces, they just rotate.
That's right. But the game must go on, that's for sure. As long as the fans show up to the stands, they're going to keep playing. And I think that's the story with the U.S. stock market. As long as it stays above the 200-day moving average, this pattern will continue. And, really it's probably going to do that for the rest of this year. But one day it will go through that and this will end. But I'm not trying to predict when that moment is. We saw tests of the 200-day moving average, for the Dow, 3 times, this summer following its January drop. And there was some troubling signs of internal erosion in the stock market. And it looked like the game might be over, or at least some coaches had to be fired. And it looks like they brought some new ones back to the game. And here we are. So, that period of trouble and warning has passed, and now we're in this, market where some of these stocks are going up and people are trading them and chasing them, and so forth.
We'll have more with Mike Swanson right after the break.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp, MGI and the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected several high-grade gold intersections, including 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. Additional drill targets on the LH property have been identified by a 2018 drone airborne magnetic survey to further evaluate a pyrrhotite-enriched gold-bearing system. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
MGX Minerals is revolutionizing the new energy economy with patented lithium extraction technology, replacing traditional solar evaporation using low-cost, low-energy nanofiltration. The first system of this paradigm shift technology is currently being commissioned. MGX Minerals trades on the CSE, symbol XMG, the OTCQB, symbol MGXMF, and Frankfurt, symbol 1MG. For more information, visit our website, mgxminerals.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mike Swanson. How is gold reacting right now?
Well, gold's interesting because it took a hit in June, or started to fall in June, I should say, and took a hit in August with emerging markets in China. And in September, it bounced, and got back above 1,200. Then after the Fed meeting last week, it fell below 1,200 to 1,180. And that, is now support on gold. And it's bouncing above it this week, going back above 1,200. And so that's not unexpected. But I think gold is probably going to take some time before it really turns up and has a sustainable rally that takes it beyond 1,300 and a giant move like we saw in early 2016. So I think the overall trend for gold is basically sideways. And we may even see some tax loss selling in some of the big cap mining stocks in December, because they're now among the worst performing sectors in the market because of what happened in the month of August. However, that said, there are some bright spots. Barrick did this massive merger with Randgold the other week, and there's some action in some individual small cap mining stocks that's tremendous. So there's a company in Australia called Royal Nickel, and it was at 10. I don't own a position, and I'm just making note of this. It was at below 10 cents since at the beginning of September, and as we're speaking, it's at 94 cents. So it's a massive rally in this exploration stock because they made a big discovery. And is a stock that I do have a position in, Wallbridge, which it isn't going up that much, but it's gone from around 6 cents to being at 32 cents today over the space of 2 or 3 months, thanks to some drilling results. So I bring these two stocks up to say that there is action in the junior mining market, and when the big cap gold stocks tumbled in August, when the GDX broke its support of around 21 for 2 years, and fell, for the most part, the junior mining stocks did not decline at all. I watched many of them, and they've just basically, as a whole, simply been going sideways for about 2 years, kind of oblivious, really, to the up and down short-term swings in gold. And what I conclude from all this is that gold and the mining stocks are in some sort of position like they were in 2001, because they came out of a big bear market during that time, but gold basically went sideways until 2002. It stayed below $300, just as it's staying below $1,350 for the past couple years. And during that time, the big cap mining stocks would go up and down in the range too, but there would be, I would say lackluster action in the juniors. They're just floating around, not crashing, not, really doing much, but individual ones would go up. And so I think that's where we are. I do think at one point, at some point in the future, we're going to see gold smash through, and go up like it did in 2016 or did in 2002 and go up for years. But I don't think we're at that moment yet. It'll probably come when the U.S. stock market finally takes a hit and stops raising interest rates or starts to reduce interest rates. And that could happen at some point next year. So it's an interesting, I think from an investment standpoint, buying the right stocks, in the sector makes a lot of sense, but I think you got to be patient and realize that we're still in this sideways, sort of trend. We're, going off the 1180 support, now, next resistance is 1220. So we'll just have to see, can we even get through that or not? If not, if we don't get through it this month, then I think we should expect another retest before the end of the year.
We'll have more with Mike Swanson right after this.
I'm Kelly Jennings, CEO of PowerBand Solutions. PowerBand is a cloud-based provider of auction, inventory, and finance solutions that make buying, selling, and financing vehicles more efficient. PowerBand Solutions trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol PBX and on the OTCQB symbol PWWBF and on Frankfurt symbol 1ZV. For more information, please visit us at powerbandsolutions.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're chatting with Mike Swanson. Mike, Coca-Cola is said to be in talks with some cannabis producers in Canada, but Pepsi today announced it's not going to do it because of the U.S. ban federally on marijuana. So you have your two big beverage companies on opposite sides of the fence. Who's going to win in this?
Well, it's going to take time, really, for, I think, the marijuana to be more accepted in the United States. It's not going to happen as fast as it has happened in Canada. That's for sure. But it will happen eventually. So I would think the companies that prepare now will be in the best position when that time comes, but they may be hurt now too, because, the Trump administration is not a friend of marijuana. At least the Attorney General is not. And there's been stories that people traveling to the United States that are involved in marijuana companies are being stopped and rejected from entering the country and so forth. So, but that's something that can change by another election or two. So I think that's kind of where we are. But the real action in the marijuana sector, I don't think is in, for people who want to trade this stuff, isn't in Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but really the smaller marijuana stocks, and they're having tremendous runs, to say the least. That Tilray stock completely exploded this year. But I'll tell you, I don't have anything to do with this stock, but there's a stock called Neptune that trades on the the NASDAQ, and it just announced that the symbol's NEPT, that it's going to do something with the marijuana industry. It announced this a couple months ago, and that stock has gone from about $275 to $450. And on Robinhood, which is the most popular trading app in the United States, it's one of the top 100 most widely owned stocks. So there is a big interest among retail American investors in getting in the action in the marijuana sector, even though federal officials don't like it. But you can't stop people from wanting to make money when there's something like this available. So I think that's where we are, and I expect we're going to see more small cap stocks get involved in the marijuana space because their stocks go up when it happens. This is really what happened a year ago with the Bitcoin blockchain mania that happened in the small cap space too. There's a stock Riot that went from like $5 to $40 in 8 weeks last year because it changed its name to Riot Blockchain when it was a biotech company. But the thing that's different about marijuana stocks and something like crypto, which we saw, went nuts last year, then, the Bitcoin went to 20,000, then just as fast went and crashing down to 10,000 like in 2 weeks. And so many of these cryptocurrencies fell to oblivion in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. Stocks don't do that. Stocks don't, for the most part, don't, go up 100% and then collapse 90% in 2 weeks. So I say that because I don't compare the marijuana sector to Bitcoin and crypto like some people are doing, saying this is just a bubble and it's going to pop overnight. I do believe the valuations are stretched. I do believe, one day these stocks will go down, because really one day all stocks end up going down. All sectors end up going down. You have bull and bear cycles, but when that happens, stocks typically do not fall 90% overnight. And even though Tilray went up and down and is crazy, that doesn't mean the whole sector is going to blow up overnight either. To me, the marijuana sector is very similar to what I saw in the internet stocks in 1999. You could see an individual stock do something really crazy like we just saw in Tilray, but the whole sector will not go up and down with that one stock. So I think that's where we are, and I expect that the action in the marijuana stocks or the marijuana sector can stay bullish and for the rest of the year.
Well, if we take a look, too, at consumption in the U.S., when they legalized marijuana in California, Oregon, Washington State, they didn't have enough on store shelves when they first opened up, and then they had to lower their prices because the private black market was undercutting their prices. So can we expect to see the same thing in Canada?
That makes a lot of sense. I would expect that to happen. I mean, people grow marijuana. I mean, honestly, even though it's illegal in most of the United States, people are growing marijuana all over the place. I mean, they grow it in their house. In the county I lived in, I mean, I'm not growing it, but there's people that do. But in the county I live in, there's a guy that had a 100-acre farm growing marijuana on it with Mexican workers doing it. He used to have a tobacco farm, but he decided he's going to grow marijuana. He got caught and sentenced to jail for a year or two. But there's no reason someone in a county, he can or can't do that. And I'm sure this guy wasn't the only one doing it elsewhere in the United States. So, definitely.
Mike, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. Great talking with you.
My guest has been Mike Swanson, editor of WallStreetWindow.com. If you have any questions for Mike or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at talkdigitalnetwork.com. HowStreet.com Radio is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.